Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that may sound basic, but can dramatically impact our well-being: hydration. I have heard other autistic content creators talk about the importance of hydration. I don't think I've ever heard them explain why. I wanted to find out the whys and share with you. So I went to ChatGPT and Claude. Following is the information that I've gathered. First, let's break down why hydration is particularly crucial for autistic people. Water impacts virtually every aspect of our physical and neurological functioning in ways that can either help or hinder our daily experiences. When we're even slightly dehydrated, just 1 to 2% below optimal levels, our brain function takes a significant hit. Research shows this small deficit can cause persistent brain fog and difficulty processing information. It can reduce our ability to focus or maintain attention, impair short-term memory and recall. It can also cause delayed reaction times and decision-making. For autistic individuals, these effects compound our existing cognitive challenges. Proper hydration keeps our neurons firing efficiently, making it easier to navigate sensory input, social interactions, and daily tasks without feeling overwhelmed. Dehydration doesn't just affect thinking, it directly impacts our emotional state. When our bodies lack adequate water, stress hormone levels like cortisol increase measurably, triggering heightened anxiety and irritability, increased emotional reactivity, lower frustration tolerance, and more frequent or intense meltdowns. Many of us have experienced autistic burnout, that state of complete exhaustion where our coping mechanisms fail, our executive function crashes, and even basic tasks feel impossible. What's rarely discussed is how dehydration can both contribute to and intensify burnout. When we're already pushing our systems to the limit, poor hydration becomes the invisible factor that can push us over the edge. Staying properly hydrated won't prevent burnout on its own, but it provides our neurological system with the baseline resources needed to better manage stress and recover more effectively when we're approaching or experiencing burnout. Here's something fascinating. Dehydration actually amplifies sensory input. Let me repeat that. Dehydration amplifies sensory input. When our nervous system lacks proper hydration, sensory experiences become more intense and harder to filter. Sounds feel sharper and more intrusive. Lights appear brighter and more jarring. Tactile sensations feel more pronounced. Background stimuli become impossible to ignore. Maintaining optimal hydration helps regulate our nervous system's responses, creating a buffer against sensory overload and making environments more manageable. Dehydration manifests physically in ways that can be particularly confusing for those with altered interoception. These symptoms include tension headaches or migraines that intensify other sensitivities, muscle fatigue and cramping that increases restlessness, dry mucous membranes that heighten oral sensitivities, dizziness or lightheadedness that disrupts balance and coordination. For autistic individuals, these physical discomforts often get misattributed to anxiety, sensory issues, or other conditions, when the simple solution might be drinking more water. Many autistic people experience co-occurring digestive challenges. Adequate hydration is foundational for proper digestion and nutrient absorption, for regular elimination and reduced constipation, decreased bloating and abdominal discomfort, and for other predictable digestive patterns. When our digestive system functions smoothly, we have one less source of physical distress competing for our attention and energy. Now let's talk about demand avoidance and resistance. For those of us who experience pathological demand avoidance, PDA, hydration presents a unique challenge. When our nervous system perceives demands, even internal ones like thirst, we can experience an automatic resistance response. This means the more we should drink water, the stronger our avoidance might become. Direct reminders from others can trigger increased resistance. Self-imposed hydration goals can backfire and create anxiety. Interestingly, dehydration itself can amplify PD characteristics by increasing overall anxiety and nervous system dysregulation. Staying hydrated creates a more regulated baseline state where demands feel less threatening and overwhelming. Finding non-demand-based approaches to hydration becomes especially important for those with PDA traits. Now let's address why staying hydrated can be uniquely challenging for us autistic people. At the heart of this challenge is interoception, our ability to sense internal bodily states. Many of us have altered interoception, which means we might not recognize thirst signals until we're significantly dehydrated. Other common barriers include sensory aversions. The temperature, texture, or subtle taste of water can trigger sensory discomfort. Executive functioning. Remembering to drink regularly requires planning and habit formation. Hyperfocus. Deep engagement in special interests or tasks can override bodily awareness for hours. Routine dependence. Without structured drinking habits, hydration easily falls by the wayside. In competing sensory needs. Avoiding bathroom trips in overwhelming environments can lead to deliberate underhydration. Before we get to practical strategies, let's address something critical: hydration during autistic burnout. When we are in burnout, as I am now, even basic self-care can feel overwhelming. The executive functioning required to remember to drink water, get up to refill a glass, or track our intake simply isn't available. During these periods, dehydration can create a vicious cycle. Burnout makes hydration harder, and dehydration makes burnout symptoms worse. Some specific approaches that can help during these difficult times include absolute minimum effort. Keep pre-filled water bottles next to where you rest or recover. Support systems. If possible, ask someone you trust to gently remind you or refill your water. Visual triggers. Place water in your direct line of sight where you spend most of your time. Reduced barriers. Use straws, bottles that require minimal handling, or whatever creates least friction. And for me, honestly, I can drink more water when I'm drinking through a straw. But do what feels right for you. And forgiveness. Remember that something is better than nothing. Even small sips help. Now let's explore how we can overcome everyday hydration challenges and make it work for our neurodivergent needs. Here are some autism-friendly approaches you could try. Make water more appealing. To do this, you could use flavor infusions. Try adding sliced cucumber, berries, or herbs like mint for subtle flavor without sugar. Temperature customization. Experiment with different temperatures. Some prefer ice cold, others room temperature. Carbonation option. Sparkling water can provide satisfying sensory feedback for those who enjoy it. Next is how to create hydration systems. First is special interest integration. Incorporate a favorite character or theme into your water bottle or drinking routine. Visual tracking. Use an app with visual progress indicators or a marked water bottle with time indicators. Paired routines. Attach drinking water to existing habits. Take 3 sips after checking your phone. If you're watching TV, hydrate during the commercials. If you'll be listening to a podcast, drink before the podcast begins and when it ends. Environment design. Place water stations in multiple locations you frequently occupy. Now we'll talk about sensory-friendly equipment. First, texture consideration. Test different bottle materials, glass, metal, specific plastics, and find what feels best. Drinking mechanism. Some prefer straws, other wide-mouth bottles, or particular lid types. Carrying comfort. Choose bottles that feel good in your hands or bags without becoming sensory irritants. Sound sensitivity. Some bottles create vacuum sounds that could be triggering. Test before committing if you can. Tech support. First, hydration apps. Use reminder apps specifically designed for building hydration habits. Smart bottles. Consider bottles that glow when it's time to drink if visual reminders work well for you. And smartwatch alerts. Set gentle, non-jarring reminders at regular intervals. Hydration may seem like a small detail in the grand scheme of autism management, but it's actually a powerful foundation that supports everything from sensory processing to emotional regulation. Finding your personal hydration system might take some experimentation, but the cognitive clarity, emotional stability, and physical comfort that come with proper hydration make it absolutely worth the effort. I would love to hear what works best for you. Share your hydration hacks or questions in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content on autism. Remember, sometimes the simplest changes yield the most profound results. Taking care of your neurological system starts with something as basic as water, and you deserve to feel your best. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.